Whether we want them or not, accidents are bound to happen every now and again. No matter how much we take care and preventative measures that we apply, there's just bound to be things that are out of our hands. Sooner or later, we're going to encounter someone or even something that will rattle us. But you know what? Sometimes it comes from unexpected factors, like animals. Driving accidents involving animals have been a growing problem in the States as the years go by. Given how much humans are occupying the lands today, sooner rather than later, we're bound to overstep animals' homes or experience them overlapping our homes. So for today's topic, we're going to be discussing the crazy times animals and humans have almost had fatal accidents, as well as some other factors to consider that can help us minimize or even prevent these accidents from happening again. Do you know what the activity which involves the largest number of casualties from both animals and humans are? Stick around to find out. Before we get into the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as well as turn on post notifications so that you don't miss anything. Driving. A lot of these accidents happen on the road, and though fatalities are not always the end game, there's still so many instances where casualties are present. Havarst, one of the leading manufacturers of animal control products, released a report sharing the statistics of vehicular accidents, which involved both animals and humans, and we'll be discussing it today. Americans drive an average of 13,000 miles per year, according to the data shared by the Federal Highway Administration, which means the drivers have experienced these accidents at times. Driving at the usual 40, 50, or even 60 plus miles per hour, vehicular accidents have been a growing concern for both human and animal wildlife alike, since the road is one of the last places that one would want to encounter these furry creatures. Wildlife vehicle collisions, or WVC, have increasingly been the topic of academic research to be able to understand the causes and how they can be mitigated. In both Europe and North America, deer are the animal which are most likely to cause vehicle damage. In Australia, specific actions have been taken to protect against the variety of animals that can damage vehicles, like bull bars, usually known in Australia as rhubars, about kangaroos, indicate the Australian experience has some unique features with roadkill, helping ensure these animals stay safe on the road today and tomorrow, especially with the advent of driverless cars, will be a challenge, according to researchers. In addition to that, the Wildlife Coalition Prevention Program provides steps that you can take to ensure that you and the wildlife stay safe. Be aware of wildlife warning signs. Watch your speed. Drive defensively, not offensively. Consider whether it's safe to swerve, and think, what if an animal ran into the road? What would your tactic be to avoid it? Causes of vehicle accidents involving animals. As stated earlier, humans' constant land development has forced some of these animals to encroach on civilized land, therefore resulting in interaction among humans' land-developed territories. The development of roads affects wildlife by altering and isolating habitat and populations, deterring the movement of wildlife, and resulting in extensive wildlife mortality. In an article entitled "The Ecology of Transportation: Making Mobility for the Environment," which was published in August 2013, the number of animals killed in the United States has been an estimated 1 million per day. Common animal collisions. There's over 30 million deer in the United States alone, so it's no surprise why these animals are the most commonly spotted by American drivers. Although majestic and pleasant to look at, encountering a deer on the road is pretty costly. State Farm Insurance released a report which stated animal collisions account for $4 billion annually, but the number also included other furry friends like squirrels, cats, dogs, and birds. In over 70% of the 50 states, the most common hit animal on the road is deer. In 5 states, namely Hawaii, Arizona, Utah, Oklahoma, and Delaware, believe it or not, birds are the most struck creatures by motorists. In 2014, it was reported that over 340 million birds were killed on U.S. roads each year. According to USA Today, higher speed limits and wider roads in rural areas have contributed to an uptick in bird fatalities. Not all animals have to be on the ground to be hit. Low-flying birds, even big ones like barn owls, are susceptible to being struck by a fast-moving fast-moving vehicle. There were at least 2 states where coyotes and squirrels were the most common struck animals, but only in one state. Wyoming led with cats. This is a state that has amassed over 12,000 motor vehicle collisions with animals between 2011 and 2015. These crashes resulted in just over 20 human casualties since 2006. Saving an animal life: hit the brakes, swerve, or drive through. Hitting animals on the road can be very taxing and even heartbreaking for some. As such, drivers do everything in their power to avoid colliding with them. But if an animal pops out of nowhere from the road, they only have a split-second decision on what course of action they need to take. In the event of encountering animals while driving, the driver is presented with one of 3 options. 1. To hit the brakes and stop the vehicle from colliding with the animal. 2. Swerving the vehicle in a way to avoid the animal on the road, or 3, to hit the animal head-on, resulting in roadkill. Although avoiding the animals up front may be successful by doing either of the first 2 steps, these options actually present danger to the humans inside the vehicle. Firstly, hitting the brakes is unlikely, most especially if there's another vehicle behind the one they're driving. They may not hit the animal, but the car behind them may likely hit them at full force. Most drivers, at least 80%, report having a near-miss moment with an animal on the road. This means that many of us have been faced with a harrowing experience of at least once, torn between 4 or 5 different reactions, with only a split second to make a decision. Decide correctly, and the animal is safe. And you and those in your vehicle should walk away from the scene. Choose poorly, however, and it could not only cost money, but the lives of the animal and loved ones. In regards to the second option, swerving the vehicle is a pretty dangerous idea in and of itself, since it may lead to a loss of control for the car and lead to an accident. Most times, drivers put up with a third option in order to minimize the damage on their side, but unfortunately, not for the animals up front. While unfortunate, hitting an animal may sometimes be the best way to protect yourself, according to law enforcement officials. This is even more true with larger animals such as deer, where the average car can run close to $3,000 or more, depending upon the vehicle. However, less than 10% of people would opt to hit a larger animal. Officials also advise hitting your brakes if no one is behind you and it is safe to do so. Over 60% of our respondents had stated that they had preferred this solution when it came to an animal of greater size. Fatal car crashes. In a report shared by the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety and Highway Loss Data Institute in December 2019, 6,000 individuals have ended up losing their life to motor vehicle crashes involving an animal since 1975. Over the years, the number of accidents peaked in a single year during 2007 and have reached the death toll of 223 people. By 2010, though, no year has seen more than 200 deaths as a result of motor vehicle collisions with animals. Most of these animal-related deaths occurred during July, August, and September, which is the third quarter of the year. Every year during this span, almost 50 people across the United States were on a drive, collided with an animal, and never made it home. While nearly a third of the deaths resulting from motor vehicle collisions with an animal did take place in this quarter, it was followed very closely by the fourth quarter, October, November, and December. Fatal animal accidents. In 2015, the highest recorded percentage of fatal animal accidents in the United States had occurred in Texas. This included 12% of the recorded fatalities the same year. Illinois, North Carolina, and Minnesota have recorded 12% each of all fatality crashes that involved animals. Another thing that has become a growing concern is the accidents involved rare species of animals. Mortality resulting from roadkill can be very significant for various species with smaller populations. Roadkill is estimated to be responsible for 50% of deaths of Florida panthers and is the largest cause of badger deaths in England. Roadkill is considered to be significantly contributing to the population decline of many threatened species, including wolf, koala, and eastern quoll. In Tasmania, the most common species which have been affected by roadkill are bushtail possums and Tasmanian pademelons. Aside from animals, insects have also been affected too and are part of the demography that is involved in these kinds of vehicular accidents. A study entitled Roadkills: Assessing Insect Casualties using Flagship Taxit shared how insects too are going to a very high risk of roadkill incidents. Research has showed interesting patterns in insect roadkills to the vehicle density, observation projects to avoid animal and human vehicular accidents. Citizen science, a science conducted by amateur scientists, has concluded observation methods regarding these incidents. Since 2009, statewide roadkill observation systems have been stated in the United States, enrolling hundreds of observers in reporting roadkill on a website. The observers, who are usually naturalists or professional scientists, provide identification, location, as well as any other pertinent information about the observations. The data is then displayed on a website for easy visualization and made available for studies of approximate causes of roadkill, actual wildlife distributions, wildlife movement, and other studies. Roadkill observation system websites are available for the US in states like California, Maine, and Idaho. The UK similarly also has an observation study which is called Project Splatter. Project Splatter was started by Cardiff University in 2012 so as to estimate the impact of roads and monitoring British wildlife. Since then, it's gathered data on its website and several social media platforms, including Facebook and Twitter. The result of these projects is to be able to gain more insight into the vehicular road accidents that involve both humans and animals alike. As much as possible, we all want to live harmoniously with each other without any casualties or, if ever, keep it to a minimum. With that said, we're concluding today's topic regarding the almost fatal accidents between animals and humans. If you would like more of this content, please click the like button and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.